Hello, welcome to Rec Room. Say, have you ever had questions?
Would you rather live in an ice palace or a desert palace?
Shut up! Shut up!
Don't you just wish that there was someone you could talk to out here on Rec Room?
How much wood can a wood chop?
Can you please be quiet? We're trying to fight here, see?
Don't you just wish that there was someone you could voice your ideas to?
Man, who invented dino noises?
Shut up, kid! And come on down to PillowTalk, where we talk to the most important people in Rec Room, you! So, Dino, Jen, you two have been married now for over 37 years. How do you two, well, put up with each other for so long?
Yeah,
No, we're not.
good.
That's actually a pretty good question coming from our fans in the stands. How do you guys plan on putting little old ladies into hockey?
Yeah, that is a really interesting question. What do you think, Cookie?
I don't know. What do you think, Chris? I don't know. It was your guys' idea.
Now, Jaden, I need you and your team's help in order to make this bowl of ramen, and I've got all the ingredients you need right here. That's right, a traffic cone, a marshmallow on a stick, and for you Americans, a gun. That stick is high in fiber, don't you know? But everybody knows when you're driving your car out there, it needs a GPS system. That's right, a giraffe positional system with a giraffe's head poking out of the top. Well, let's see what that looks like out on the car that Hot Dog's drawn for us. Well, isn't that worth putting up on the refrigerator? You never know what's going to happen out here on PillowTalk. So come on down to PillowTalk, where we talk to the most important people in Rec Room, you. PillowTalk goes live every Sunday at 1 o'clock Central, only on Rec Room. All right, you nerds, get off my stage. Taking your seats, the show should begin shortly. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all you lovelies in between, it's time to ask the real questions, the burning questions, the questions on everybody's mind out here at Pillow Talk. Hello and welcome to Pillow Talk, the place where we talk to the most important people in Rec Room, you. We've got all sorts of characters coming out to see us tonight and all sorts of questions to ask. And normally we would have a question for you right up here with a voting booth and everything, but it's a broadcast show and unfortunately, you know, CV2, it's not going to work across everything. Normal day at the office, really. But that's all right. We've got some questions for our first guest. You may know them from some of the awesome contests that have been up in the past and some of the awesome content that have been planned in the future. So let's give a shout out to our first guest. It's none other than Troff. So Troff, I understand it that you've got your hand in all sorts of awesome maps out here on Rec Room. Tell us, what are some of your plans for helping people, well, stick around, interact with things, and overall make it an excellent experience for the people out here on Rec Room?
I think being able to make sure Rec Room's a friendly place and making sure that Rec Room is a place for everyone, whether you're creative, you like to create things, or maybe you just like to simply play laser tag and are very competitive.
Oh, absolutely. Remember, kids, there's only so many ways you can draw poop on a chalkboard. You have to try other things, right? Now, Troff, we've got all sorts of questions about the awesome things that you've made out here on Rec Room. Namely, which one of your maps is the most highly visited one that people probably already know about?
I'd have to check that. I think which one is it?
Oh, it's right there next to the what? No, not that one. The other one. You
Oh,
waved your hand right over it. Here, I'll come over to your screen for a second. Okay, so yeah, see, no, yeah, it's that one. What's that name?
your bedroom. Because
My
there was a
bedroom?
contest.
Why is my bedroom the one that's being visited? Creeps doing in there. Go on, get. Anyways, jokes aside, Trough, you've had so many hands in different projects. What are some things that you enjoy about rec rooms in general that keeps you visiting them out there in the world?
Something I really something that keeps me playing Rec Room is probably the maps that people make. And definitely the fact that we've got new shapes on the Maker Pen, which is nice to play around with. And also because, why not? Oh gosh. Thank you, God, Nacho. Very thoughtful. Thank
And as
you.
much as we appreciate the gifts that you send us, unfortunately, not everyone in every instance is going to be able to see them. But still, thank you very much. Now, Trough, obviously, you've been all over the Rec Room scene out here with all sorts of different games, different styles, and different ways of playing Rec Room. I simply have to ask, why are military maps the worst way to play them?
Well, I think a military map started off as a really cool original idea, but after a while, when you see like 50 of them holding events in the events tab, and obviously it makes it harder to find PillowTalk if there's buried underneath so many military events.
Completely
I think
understandable.
after a while, it's just the same thing. And it just gets a bit repetitive.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
as much
Why stand
as it
around
was a
with a
good,
blaster in one map when you can do that in your own map or even in your dorm room? Like, what is the point? If you wanted to do that, you could take off your VR headset, simply save money and get yourself a Nerf gun, but we'll worry about that part later.
I mean, I would love if someone created like, for instance, maybe a futuristic military type game, but instead of it being like a military, it was like a cyborg type army. Because otherwise, people aren't going to want to click on a game that they've seen everywhere else.
Now, I'm sure that's been done before, but I think we can expand upon that idea, where people visiting the map will start off as human resistance running around a cityscape of some sort, and then the guys of the cyborg army come in and capture the people that are trying to live their lives out there in a dystopian wasteland and then turn them into cyborgs. What do you think?
Well, I think that would be like very cool. Instead of just having this whole system where you rank up, someone gives you the role, and then you're, whatever level you are. It would be really cool if you actually had to interact with other players in order to level up. And especially now that we have so many interesting leveling up systems here on Rec Room, it would definitely be very, very cool if we could see those be used.
Oh, absolutely. We've got the types where you can just gain XP by sticking around, gain XP from doing tasks. There's been plenty of ways of, spending tokens in order to gain XP, in order to, completely boost your levels if you have your mom's credit card, but we'll worry about that part later. But when it comes to earning things in a various room that, you're not going to be using anywhere else, why should kids come back to bother? What makes it fun to return to these types of maps where you're basically standing around with a blaster? What makes that fun?
I think what makes it fun is when people get into character, and sometimes you'll see it where people actually pretend, or kids will actually pretend that they're soldiers. And I really find that like cool and interesting because Rec Room is a creative game, as a lot of people know, and so being able to creatively express yourself and be able to pretend to be someone on a game with a whole community of people I think would be really cool. And so being able to come back and join that community and be that person with other people I think is what should make people come back.
This right here could not agree more. It's all about getting into the moment and actually, well, finding the fun that can be presented instead of, running up to someone and, yelling at them for an hour. You could do that outside. You. Now, Trough, you've already seen all sorts of things that the community has created. We've also got the awesome stuff that Rec Room itself has created, but I'm not seeing much support in the way of the various things that they could expand upon. We've only had, one version of Rec Rally with no other maps, no other versions of vehicles. We've had one map of, what was that, Showdown? What was the name of that one with the cork guns?
Yeah, I think that was Showdown. I haven't played it in a while, so.
Hey, that's all right. No one has because there's no reason to go back. It's been done to the point where anyone going over there already knows this song and dance. How can we help out Rec Room with trying to expand upon some of these ideas that they've presented? They obviously need new maps and different ways of expanding upon what they've established. How can we possibly do that to help the community?
I think it would be interesting if the community were able to come up with ideas they would like to see in Rec Room maps. Like you said, Showdown or Rec Rally. I mean, it was such a cool, thing that we were able to have drivable, cars, but there was only one level, and after a while it just got boring, and so obviously no one really played it anymore. And so I think it would be interesting if players were able to create their own levels. So you know how sometimes in Mario, for instance, you can create your own levels after you finish the base game. I think that would be really interesting, and seeing how much people have created, it would just be interesting to see.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. And you'll be able to check out some of the racing circuits out there, event sections, but probably not enough of the Wild West court guns because unfortunately, as many of you know, they're not actually available for your maker these days. Hopefully we can see those in the future, but only time will tell. All right, Trough, we have a couple more questions here from some of the chats over here, especially from Disney Guy 21. He absolutely wants to know about you specifically and just what was it like growing up with only 6 toes?
Well, it was a struggle. Yeah, very much a struggle. I mean, I couldn't find any shoes whatsoever that fit me. So the only shoes I could find were these massive Crocs that I had to wear. It was really embarrassing. Oh, you're bringing up bad memories.
I'm so sorry. I know it's a squishy subject. I'll move on.
Yeah.
I'll move on. Actually, we have another excellent question here from Mr. Clean, who is absolutely dying to know. Previously, you had worked outside in the real world selling bootleg DVDs to the White House. Tell us, what was that experience like?
Well, it was definitely terrifying, but, the president, he loves the Minions, and he couldn't find it anywhere else. And I have exclusive copies of the new Minions movie that hasn't even came out yet. So I had to, show it to him, and he would watch it every night. Yeah, eating popcorn, So, yeah, it was a terrifying and cool job, I guess.
And there you have it, folks. There's no telling what the world has in store for you, especially if you have to work in government. But you'll find out about that later. Okay, Trough, we got one last question here for you before we head to the next person. And I simply got to know, from one content creator to another, how much Norris could Chuck Norris chuck if Chuck Norris could Chuck Norris?
I think that is a brilliant question, and I think he would be able to Chuck Norris.
And that's the kind of answer we expect. Give it up for Trough, everybody, for coming out and giving us the real answers this evening.
Thank you. Well, goodbye and have a nice day.
Just don't go into the landmines. Okay, we'll worry about that part later. In the meantime, though, while security goes and cleans up what's left of her, let's bring it over to our next guest. This absolute legend has his hands in all sorts of awesome productions out here, and he's here to tell you how to make your own production out here on Rec Room. It's none other than the legend himself.
Hello.
Mr. Cam.
Hello. Actually, I'm here to talk more about the Alfonso production and also how this show's still been going on for 3 years.
We've been
First things
going on for
first.
3 years now? Oh, goodness, it's
Yeah.
felt like it's 30. Oh, goodness. I kid. It's been a blast the
Yeah.
entire ride.
It has been. Also, first thing you may know, I am a host of the Afonso Talk Show on Saturday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern on Rec Room, which is I get an honor to do every day, and I really do enjoy it. Also, we got some new fun stuff coming up next Saturday. For the talk
Ooh,
show.
what kind of fun stuff have you got going on? Tell me it
Got the rec-
involves dunking children into vats. I love doing that. Okay,
Yeah,
what sort of
involves
boring
record-
stuff are you bringing out? Let's hear it.
we're gonna be doing a Rec Room have a birthday video. We went around and talk about their favorite moment.
Ooh.
Like
Mr.
Rec
Cam,
Room
that sounds interesting, but unfortunately it looks like your internet's cutting out, my guy. Are you okay? Looks like someone forgot to put a quarter in the modem. Mr. Cam, can you hear us? Don't you joy on me. Oh, right, he's an avatar. No one can actually hit each other. Which is weird because, you see kids all the time over in the rec center, throwing punches at each other and it's just going to go through. Like, what are you trying to prove? Okay. All right, we can easily work with this. So instead of concentrating on the dead body that is definitely not decomposing right here, what do you say that we bring in our next guest? The one and only, the absolute awesome possum. It's none other than...
Hello there.
Eggs Benedict. Eggs, please ignore the smell that might be around you. It might just be eggs. Don't worry about it. In the meantime, how are you doing today, Eggs?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, you know me, having a grand old time out here at PillowTalk. Say, Eggs, I hear you've been cooking up more than just awesome cars in your time out here on Rec Room. Tell us, you've been actually on the front lines of making some awesome new vehicles for the upcoming Rec Rally. Tell us, would you mind showing us how one of these cars is made?
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful. Let's head on over to the canvas and take a look. Oh, right. We can't actually use the canvas because no one's going to be able to actually see the ink go across that. Dang it. What do we have? Okay. So, Eggs, would you mind showing us the interworkings of an engine for a go-kart with these blocks right here?
Sure. It depends on what type of go-kart you got. There are two types that are run by two separate engines. You have
Okay, we're
a
going to go with
gasoline
the
engine.
150cc, no items, box only, final destination.
Alright, gasoline it is. So normally they are run by either one piston, like they're normally pretty small motors run by either one piston or two.
Exactly.
But most engines run the same, so this basic thing you could also apply to things like cars. So you have a piston and like a little
Okay,
box
you keep setting that up. I have an idea.
Well, yeah, you have a little engine, little piston in like a little box. Oh,
Kinda
alright
like
then.
this, right?
Well,
No, you're not allowed to
yeah.
use that. That's mine. I built this with building blocks. You should build it with building blocks too.
yeah. Alright.
Don't copy
Basically,
off
you
my
have a little
homework.
piston in a box connected to, like a kind of rod that is kind of
It is this one
squiggly
over
that
here,
goes
right?
up. Huh?
Oh, the squiggly
That
that
I'm
goes
pretty
up.
sure is
Hey,
the
I saw
piston
that
there.
one. Hey, that's over here.
No, it would not be visible on the outside of the motor. That is probably where the actual piston is, the cylinder head. Basically, it's it basically right here would be this little like rod extending out extending out. This would be connected to the crankshaft. It's where where the vertical energy of the piston going up and down, like kind of like this, it turns into a rotational energy going like this.
Oh, that's all right. It's not like everybody can see what the engine is anyway. Thanks, Rec Room.
Now,
Now, in the
most
meantime-
motors, there are two also, when it comes to gas motors, trying not to get too complicated here, but there are 2-stroke and 4-stroke motors. Two-stroke motors are often used in things like lawnmowers, the ones that require you to put oil in with the gas to keep the engine from exploding.
Wait, the engine can explode? I thought that was
Yes,
just a
it's
thing
literally
from action
containing
movies.
tiny.
What?
It's literally just tiny contained explosions. So it's less of a fiery explosion, more of a cylinder rod gets sent to the moon type of explosion.
But dude, hang on. That means all of our vehicles and the ones that you guys probably ride into school, they're all propelled by miniature explosions?
Yes, basically takes a
That's too
mixture
awesome.
of air. That takes a mixture of air and gasoline, the liquid dinosaur you put in your car like once a week. And it basically takes it, puts it into a cylinder, compresses it, and explodes it, making it go down, and then exhausts that gas. Yep. What's your question?
Liquid dinosaurs are causing explosions which propel us over to work?
Yes, to basically take very old bones from dinosaurs. They, in a complicated thing that I don't actually know, they somehow decay into crude oil. Then that oil gets extracted from the ground, refined into the gasoline that you put into your car.
Hang on.
It gets
Most of the
produced
museums
into...
have these kinds of dinosaur bones. How have they not turned into oil already?
Most stuff in museums are fossils, not the actual dinosaur bones. There's a difference.
Thus... Wait, how... No, stop. There's definitely dinosaur bones. How are they fossils and not being able to turn into oil?
Basically, I'm not exactly sure how it works, but my kind of assumption is that
we need to know. How are bones
the oil's
turned
a
into
liquid
oil?
and
How is the oil explosions? Have you ever been so far as to consider what possibly could have been felt like? The people need to know.
For me, you'd have to probably ask a geologist on the actual how dinosaur stuff gets turned into oil, because not exactly sure how. But all I can tell you is that it somehow happens, and basically that oil gets used in a lot more things than you would think, like plastic. Anything plastic has some amount of oil in it.
Oh, kind of like the VR headsets that are on our faces, or the keyboards that we're currently using to move our non-VR avatars around and just interact with things.
It uses oil, and at least some, to produce it. It's normally not much, only like 10% of its actual oil, but it just combines that with various other chemicals, yada yada yada, to make plastics. And there's also
things... And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story of the birds and the bees. Give it up for Eggs Benedict, everybody! Oh yes, please put the blocks away. Eggs, thank you so much for teaching us all the ins and outs of the birds and the bees and how our vehicles are caused by explosions made by the dinosaurs. Excellent work. And if you wouldn't mind exiting through the curtain, right over here.
Alrighty then.
See, that's how you exit the stage, without breaking things. But I'm not bitter. In fact, let's bring it over to our next guest. You're going to love him. Because our next guest is all about cooking up trouble and has an awesome new way of making the various cakes that you can actually get over in the rec center. Give it up for our next guest. It's none other than... It's Chaos Voltia! So, Chaos, I understand that you've got an awesome new cookbook coming to Rec Room, Cooking with Only Ketchup Packets. Mind showing us how it's done in our recently renovated kitchen?
Of course.
Wonderful! Let's head on down! Oh, we're going to need ingredients. We're going to need all sorts of things. And considering that this can be made in anybody's, rec room, we also need to make it look like your rec room. So, wait right there. I have just the thing.
Oh.
First, we're going to need the basics of your room, which is definitely this dumpster right here. And of course, we're going to need this trash bin and this trash bag to represent your taste in food and music.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Chaos. We're looking to make something easy, something that anybody can make at home, like a bowl of ramen. Could you help us make a
I
bowl of
just ate
ramen out of the
ramen.
various things you can find in your own rec room?
Of course, I just ate ramen too.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Now, folks, as your room may not look like this to you, obviously, it definitely looks like this to everybody who knows you. We're just too polite to tell you. Now, the first thing you want to do is take the dumpster that is your room and just throw it at people.
Okay, there we go. So,
What is it,
first
Kat?
off, you, with trash can, you put it in the oven. If it goes in the oven, you gotta
Just take the
you gotta,
whole
like,
bag of
shove
trash and put it in there.
shove it in
Bag
there.
and everything.
Put it in there. You do that, and then with with the dumpster, you hit Foggy first, and
Ooh.
then
Ow.
into a toaster oven.
Toaster oven. That is the toaster oven. It's an oven that makes toast. Don't hit me again. Stop it. No.
All right. Now, with the trash can, as that has been cooking, you can take it out. You can put it in the trash can.
And now
And
that
then
the
there
trash
you
can
go.
is properly on fire, you'll be able to enjoy yourself the right way to make ramen. Because you deserve to be in the dumpster yourself.
And
Please
then
don't hit me.
With this again, you can't hit Foggy with this one, as this is more delicate than anything else. So, with it now, you put it on top of the trash can.
There you go. That way, all of that wonderful ramen juices will eventually pour out into the garbage and seep right through it. Now, Chaos, while that's cooking, we actually have some questions from our fans out in the stands. One of them really wanted to know, do you have plans on recreating the Jurassic Park Jeep?
No.
Sorry, folks. And it looks like we've got another question that's more of a statement that says, this is made for stew. No, ramen has a broth to it. It may be like a stew, but it's more of a spaghetti with a stew in it. Because we all know spaghetti was the first noodle to come across, not ramen. Ow. Oh, come on now, Chaos. You can't be like that. There we go. All right, Chaos. We do have more questions from our fans out in the stands.
Oh.
And actually, we have a question here from Finny E. Wannabe, who absolutely wants to know, out of all of your belly buttons, which one do you like to pick on the most?
I say the one behind my ear.
And there you have it, folks. The truth that is, it's Chaos Voltia. Give it up for Voltia, everybody.
That scared me.
Oh, that's all right. It's just your own room. Chaos, you've been an absolute treat. Thank you so much for coming out. And if you wouldn't mind exiting through the curtain, right over here. Well, that's a steaming pile of garbage in my kitchen. I'm sure it will not bring any negative consequence to my show. In the meantime, let's bring it back over to the center and get back to talking to you. Oh. Now, folks, we've all been around the event sections all sorts of times and a couple of broadcasts here and there, but obviously we know one person who knows them better than anyone else, someone who's been to every broadcast ever and is here to show you how it's done. Give it up for our next guest. It's none other than Colors!
Yeah, that's good.
Colors. People around Rec Room absolutely want to know when it comes to choosing your outfits, do you take a look in the mirror and go, yeah, that looks great?
I mean, the simplified way is that, but I don't want anyone to listen to me yap for that long like last show. So, just whatever looks
We're going to
good
go with
for
yes.
aesthetic is
She
what
thinks she
you
looks
would
great.
want to
In the
wear,
meantime,
basically.
Now, Colors, you've got all sorts of outfits that we would love to show off to people out here, but obviously we can't do that because it's a broadcast show. So I need you to explain in gruesome, agonizing detail what your next awesome outfit is going to look like. Start with the materials and work your way up.
Basically, like, it's Rec Room, so I'm gonna have to use closing terms. I'm thinking,
Yep,
like,
definitely.
like, I'm then trying to make more outfits. I want to update some of my outfits. I'm thinking about updating the outfit of one of my Rec Room characters. I'm trying to keep the blue theme for... Are you falling asleep?
No, why would you say that? I wouldn't do that to you.
You gotta keep the blue theme for the suits and keep... Ow! Jeez.
Exactly. Find the colors
And you
that
have
make
to, like,
match you.
basically the blue theme and the species I have to keep because that is what makes the character unique in the story. I'm not gonna explain the story here because then that would take an hour long.
And we don't have
I'm
that
gonna
kind
spare
of
y'all
time.
some
We got
time.
more people that come up on stage.
Yes, of
Like
course.
that
That's
guy
why.
over in the next instance.
Yeah, over there. That's why I'm sparing y'all some time. Like, there's a
Now,
lot of things I
colors?
need to keep, but basically I just have to keep the blue theme and the species. Basically the same
Well, of
species
course
that
you're
my
going to choose
character
blue
is.
because blue is
And
a
no, it's...
natural color to
No,
go
my
along with
character is
orange.
not a furry.
I know they're not a furry. They're a ginger. It's worse. But at the same time, you
Dang.
have to keep that orange and blue dynamic to represent, the Fighting Illini when they dare attempt to play basketball. But we'll worry about them later. Now, Colors, we've got all sorts of questions here from actually some of the people out here in the stands. And they absolutely would love to know, how long have you been playing Rec Room for?
How long I've been playing Rec Room for? Is that what you asked?
That's right.
3.5 years. I started in 2021 as a junior account, and then in 2022 I switched to a normal account.
My goodness, grew up from a wee babby to an actual person. What a journey that most of you aren't even going to go on. Another question is,
actually,
do you
Boomer,
go to the
no, I
PAL
don't go
Jam
to those
events?
events. Sorry.
Oh, why not? They're a lot of fun. She does a
Good,
great job of trying to interact with people and keep things flowing and moving.
Yeah, I just don't have the time for it. Trying to be less
Completely understandable.
terminally online and more like trying to work on stuff that actually matters to me. Like the stories I've been talking about. Those are gonna release soon, don't worry.
Absolutely. So tell us about this totally original character, Do Not Steal, that's going into this next book that you're making, and how they fall in love with this character who's definitely not from an anime you just watched.
I actually already have the characters planned for my story, but I don't want to give any details away until I actually make it. Like, the only remnant of the story is the script that I made for no reason in particular other than for
And you'll be
friends
able to
read.
find that in Colors Diary. Give it up for Colors, everybody, for coming out and splurging about their OCs.
Yeah, like, creating's my passion, honestly. It's bound to happen.
Absolutely. And I genuinely want to check out some of the stuff that you've made once you're comfortable with actually releasing them. You know me, I like to rag on things here and there. I've got my own OCs that need to be ragged on as well. But once you're comfortable with showing it off, let a guy know. We'll make sure the world knows about it.
Yeah, first drawing on the release, June 20th. Mark it on your calendar, people. Happy Pride Month!
That's right,
See you
this
later,
June!
See you later, Foggy. I keep forgetting names, sorry. Not
Oh,
you,
that's all
moderators.
right, Bob. We'll see you next time, George.
See you
Now,
later,
Steve,
Foggy.
if you wouldn't mind exiting the curtain right over here. You know how it is, folks. We all want the splurge on what the new story is going to be about, but you know how it goes. No spoilers this season. But don't you worry. We're going to take a quick break, get some actual water in us instead of, rec room water, and we'll be back after these messages. The stage is set, the lights are on, and we need to get back to asking the real questions, the burning questions, the questions on everybody's mind out here at Pillow Talk. Welcome back to Pillow Talk, the place where we talk to the most important people in Rec Room, you. We still got plenty of people to bring up on stage and all sorts of questions to ask. And the question that you guys have been asking is, hey, how can I get up on stage? Now, unfortunately, this is a broadcast show. We have to vet the number of people that come up on stage, and they have to pass Rec Room regulations. But during our standard show, the rest of the month, you'll be able to swing on over to the queue system located over at the center, and we'll bring you up on stage to talk about all things you. But in the meantime, we've got someone who knows you better than you know yourself. Someone who's always been there to be the person that you need in that moment, and he's here to give us a laser focus on what we need to talk about next. Give it up for our next guest. It's none other than... Laser! Hi. How you doing, Laser? It's been a hot minute. What have you been up to these days?
Yeah, I've been up to some really good things, I've been working on a secret project I've been working on. It's confidential, but I'll tell you next broadcasted show.
Ooh, looks like you're going to have to swing over to the next show next weekend, Sundays at 1 o'clock Central, in order to get the scoop on this new project. But Laser, we have our first opening question from the folks out in the stands, and they want to know, are you currently broadcasting from a train or in the car or something, or a fan is next to you? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm actually on the road right now. I'm going to, in the valley.
Going to Skippity Town chat.
Oh, shut up, you.
And it sounds like he's the life of the party in that car. Goodness gracious. Who's that trying to talk to you over there?
It's my friend. It's my friend that's coming.
Tyrone Jackson.
Tyrone Jackson.
The one and only Tyrone Jackson. So tell us, what sort of event are you heading out to in the valley today?
Well, I'm going to be staying in the valley for like a week. So, yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of fun, going to water parks and you know how it goes.
Oh, absolutely. As someone who's definitely been to the valley, I know exactly what he's up to. And if anyone could actually tell me where the valley is in America, I would love to know. In the meantime, now, Laser, you've been in all sorts of projects out here at Rec Room. What is it about this next upcoming project that's really going to grab people's attention, really reel them in order to keep them around for this next big project?
Alright, you know how I love game shows and recreating game shows? This is basically what I have for this secret project. You know what, I'll tell you, just for you, Foggy, I'll tell you what it is. It's Rec Room Wipeout. It's going to be so much fun, but I can't release anything else.
Okay,
well, now,
completely understandable. That's all I needed to hear. Rec Room Wipeout, where you're going to be competing against some of your friends in all sorts of wacky challenges to win big prizes. And we'll be able to check that out next show, Sunday at 1 o'clock Central. Now, later, unfortunately, our next question isn't exactly to you. It's over to your friend Tyrone. Is he available?
Let me see. I'm going to see. Yeah, he's right here. All right, what's the question?
The question is, what was it like being born on top of the ugly tree and hitting every branch on the way down?
Okay, what was it like being on top of a tree and getting every branch on the way down? What?
And that's the kind of answer we can all expect. Give it up for Laser and Tyrone Jackson. Laser, thank you so much for relaying that question. The answer was definitely making me hold my breath, and thank you so much for alleviating that for me. And if you wouldn't mind exiting through the curtain to your left or to your right. Just be on the lookout for the car that's definitely assembled back there. All right, we'll come back to him later.
That's
In the meantime, let's bring it over to our next guest, and looks like security needs to take the microphone away from him. We'll worry about him later. Let's bring it over to our next guest. This particular character has been a speedrunner for Rec Room for quite some time, but he's looking to bring things down a notch and actually get to talking to you. Let's hear it for our next guest. It's none other than Light.
Hey, man.
Hey, we were talking about stuff earlier and you cut out. I really got to know. What was it like being born with an extra nostril under your armpit, my guy?
You know, it's really weird. 'Cause whenever I go to wash my under my armpit, all the soap goes inside and it starts hurting. It's not good.
Oh, goodness. Oh, you got to keep water out of your nostrils, kids. You know how it goes. Now, Light, we were talking about a project that you were trying to work on, and unfortunately, well, it looks like your modem was on its last quarter. Thank you so much for putting another one in. Tell us, what's this awesome project you wanted to talk about?
So last night, me and Kuiper were like, what is something Rec Room is probably missing? And we've been like going to this event called Builders Collective every now and then, where it's like you promote your rooms and your inventions to other people, and it's like people uniting, talking together. And we were like thinking of a project name where people can come into the room, select what they're good at, like circuiteer, building, or Rec Room studio, and then walk into a room and just talk to people and be like, hey man, you want to make a game together? Like, so they unite.
Oh, kind of like a Rec Room Craigslist, but for jobs.
Yeah.
An interesting take. A great way to get people connected and find, that some people don't know how to work with each other. Kuiper. In the meantime, let's bring it over to the next part. Out of these projects, which one would you be most interested in trying to pursue? Like adventures, hangout maps, dare I say, military maps? Ew. What kind of map would you want to make with the people out here on Rec Room these days?
I don't really know. I've been wanting to make like some racing games on Rec Room because there's not a lot. I mean, there's Rec Rally, but there's only one map of that. And then there's some racing games people make their own tracks, but there's not a lot of them. And I wish people would make more racing games. So I feel like that's something I would want to work on with people.
We've definitely seen a wide array of various racing games out here on Rec Room that have been fan-made, but I'm afraid that they're just normally too large. It takes up a lot of space, and if you don't have a PC that can easily run that, it's just going to clog up your game, and before you know it, your race is no longer just high-speed races around the track. It's very much just tortoise and the hare just going, oh, I'ma get ya. Oh, I'ma get ya. And before you know it, just here's the front line, here's the second line, here's the third line, race is over. There's a lot of things that go into designing a race track for people to enjoy and come back to, which is another thing that the Rec Rally race has a problem with, because it's less about racing and more about just preventing your own crash. But those of you who play that game already know. So tell us, Light, when it comes to racing tracks out here on Rec Room, what are some suggestions that you would give in order to make them more, I don't know, streamlined, less crashy? What's the word I'm looking for? You know what? That's an excellent idea. Like that rando over there said, how do you make it not suck?
I would say do not use a bunch of straight lines, because if you use more turns and corners, it's more about drifting and turning. Also make it short. If you make it too big, people are going to crash, because some people decide to play it on mobile and their phones overheat.
This right here, absolutely.
Also,
especially
maybe
if you
make
have
the
a
map
phone
look
strapped
good
to your head with an Oculus Quest 2, but we'll worry about that later.
Make the map look good. Don't make it look like Roblox. And that's about
come
it.
on now. What's wrong with Roblox? They practically invented Rec Room as is. Why, we're just the free version of Roblox, so you can have it home. Which is funny because Roblox is free and at home. But anyways, like you were saying.
Yeah, so to make a good map, I would say make the map actually look good. Maybe get some good builders. Not Kuiper though.
Oh, absolutely. Just if you're looking for good builders, you certainly don't need Kuiper, who built, the streets as well as, what was some of his excellent work? All the various auditoriums for Pillow Talk. Let's see here. He had a couple of awesome bars way back when, including the Aztec bar, which you might be able to check out in the event sections. Just, cannot work with the guy. Cannot do it.
He also had
In fact,
Life.
You know what? I need your help with something. Like, wait right there.
Yep. Oh, my bad.
Now, this is the gentleman we're talking about, Kuiper, right here. And just, as you can see from his expression, he's normally a doofy little guy, just a little gremlin running around and causing trouble on Rec Room. So, Light, tell us, if you could get your hands on Kuiper, what would you do?
I would probably try to, squeeze all that body fat down because sometimes, he's too big and sometimes it causes problems. Because, one time, we were playing an adventure game. Me and my friend Dino were on a stone bridge, and then as soon as Kuiper walked on, the whole thing split in two. It's become a serious problem lately.
The worst. And for those of you who couldn't tell, we actually put a holotar over this orange body of ours, but you know how it is. Rec Room's got to get in the way. But enough about ragging on our awesome man Kuiper. Light, let's get back to the task at hand of making awesome content out here on Rec Room. And a lot of people absolutely adore, what are these called? Obbies? They're not lobbies, They're not hobbies, they're obbies. What are they? What do they do?
They definitely have came from Roblox because Roblox is just filled with skibbity toilet obby where all the games are terrible. I think most of the games on Rec Room were how far can you do this, or an obby, or just costume games, just really low quality games that all probably came from Roblox and it just being bad. Rec Room has not really done anything to prevent these games because they're in it for the money.
Of course not.
As you
Why
can clearly
would they?
tell, they've been selling items for $15K. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's just Rec Room, folks, trying to make their extra dollar by trying to get you to steal your mom's credit card. Speaking of which, if you already did, go ahead and put the information over in the chat section. In the meantime, Light, we're coming down to the last few minutes here. I want you to pick out a random character from one of the instances out here and answer the question from them. Go ahead and swing over to the chat section and just give us a question to work with.
Yeah, wait for the questions.
Let's see. It looks like, there we go. Mando has a question, and who's hacking their server? That's an excellent question, Snowmando. Best of luck. Run.
How do you like your pizza?
Ooh,
I like my pizza
an
cooked.
Question. I'm a fan of cooked pizza as well, especially after finding out that, what were they, Lunchables has more than their recommended daily dose of lead in it or something like that. Oh, my goodness. Don't gasp at me. Go look it up yourselves. They have more than recommended doses of something bad for you. Not to mention, they're pretty darn expensive. You can build your own. But what about toppings? What do you prefer to have on your pizza besides toppings? Come on now. Let's find out what you like.
I'm a basic person. Cheese only.
Completely understandable. Ooh, there's a question. Light, if you could be one person on the PillowTalk staff, who would you be?
Probably Kuiper, because Kuiper has so much food in his room, it would be like heaven to eat all that food.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine being someone's pet and just being dropped into a whole room filled with chicken nuggets. You're just absolute heaven in a handbasket. All right, Light, we got time for one last question here, and I'm going to choose it from one of our friends right over here, the one, the only Rat. And Rat would absolutely love to know if you would join him at prom next year. What do you say,
100%.
And there it is, folks. We've got ourselves a day. Give it up for Light and his new friend Rat as they head off to prom.
Let's go. So happy.
Light, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, my man. And yeah, I dig the idea of the Craigslist thing, but I think a lot of people have been trying that, but it's not as popular as military maps. You got to find a way to beat them at their own game. And if you wouldn't mind exiting through the curtain to your left or to your right.
Okay.
See, that's how you exit a stage without breaking something for once. But anyway, speaking of breaking things, let's see if we can't talk to our next guest and see if they don't break up with us this time. It's the legend himself, the man who brought about Alfonso Productions. It's Mr. Cam.
Broadcasting, by the way.
Oh, what was that, Mr. Cam?
Oh, now I'm broadcasting. There we go.
There he
Hello,
is.
guys.
Welcome back.
Yeah. It's good to be back. As I was saying before I got cut off, I was saying we are throwing a Rec Room 8th birthday party for Rec Room. You know, we're going to be playing the birthday video. We went around Rec Room, told everybody what their favorite part about Rec Room is and what they like about it. It's really good.
Rock on. When is the party going to be taking place? Which day? What time?
Saturday at 5 o'clock.
That's right, Saturday at 5 p.m. And considering that Sunday, you already missed it. No, I'm kidding. We're talking about this upcoming Saturday, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
And also, I want to say, it's been 3 years since, your show started. You started doing Pillow Talk here. Just want to say congrats on that.
We've certainly come a long way from me simply just doing event hopping to this grand, awesome auditorium that you guys are sitting in right now. And I couldn't have done it alone. Now, a quick question from Mysterious. If between cupcakes or muffins, I'm going to go with both because I'm fat, but we'll worry about that later. Now,
yes, indeed.
Actually, Cam, do you know the history of Pillow Talk and how we all started out here?
I think I know a little bit because I remember I used to come on here as a guest frequently on this show.
That you did. You're a great guest to have out here. And I'm so glad that you decided to join us. You've been an absolute help with everything out here, my man.
Thank you.
But before you came along, would you believe it that our little show was basically a green screen in someone's closet over in a party room somewhere?
It was.
Get this. Back when nightclubs were all the scene over in the event sections, I would swing out to the events, find out myself a random guest of some sort, ask them over to one of the couches, just be like, oh, hey, can I ask you a couple of questions? Here, just have a seat here, have a seat here. You with the camera. We're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
I remember that.
And welcome back to Pillow Talk. We're here today with Mr. Cam talking about his awesome fixation with Toe Jam. So tell us, Mr. Cam, how many bottles of the stuff have you got so far? And all sorts of fun stuff like that. This one kid loved it so much that he built a dedicated room to the very idea of putting on a show for it instead of having to go event hopping. That mad lad was Kuiper. And we've gone through several different iterations of Pillow Talk from here and there, and we're doing what we can to improve upon them every year. And without his help, as well as the many other moderators who have come and gone through Pillow Talk, we have this show here for you because of them.
Yep. You're not only just an amazing person going, but you're an amazing talk show host that I really adore. Very well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cam. I don't know why, but at the same time, I'll take a compliment. In the meantime, I kid. But Mr. Cam, you've got a talk show of your own that's trying to help kids out here on Rec Room. Is it there? What was it called?
Therapy Talk.
Therapy Talk. There it is. You try to keep it up on the event sections with some of your awesome characters like Snacky Buns, Muhammad. What was it? And they're constantly talking about all sorts of mental things that are going on in the world that kids can be easily going through these days. And in this day and age of information, what you're going through out there, kiddos, more than likely, a lot of other kids have been going through since before you were born. A smart man learns from his mistakes, and a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So hopefully, with the Therapy Talk, you'll be able to get the answers that you need for you. Tell us, Cam, when does Therapy Talk go live?
Every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 o'clock Central.
Oh,
indeed.
All right. Oh, dang it, I lost my next question. Mr. Cam, you went over the script yourself. What was my next question?
I don't think I remember. I don't think I remember.
Oh, that's all right. Princess Peach over in Instance 3 wants to know, how many flavors of ice cream? Or four ice cream? I'm going to go with a maximum of 5 because my taste buds aren't as developed.
Oh, I got another one. This is also coming from Cozy. Mr. Kim, what is the idea of improvement you plan to add to Afonso Productions?
Now there's a question.
Not a whole lot. It's just, like doing more events, karaoke events, jazz events, concert events, and more talk shows and podcasts, and much more.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much awesome things that you can do with a talk show these days. Ooh, excuse me. Now, as much as there's fun to be had out here on Rec Room, there's all sorts of other places to check out your show as well as ours, such as swinging on out to PillowTalk Rec Room over on YouTube. You'll be able to check out some of our awesome shows that we've been putting on thanks to Boomer GK. And, of course, maybe even see your handsome self up on stage. And of course, if you want to hang out with us when we don't have a show going on, simply swing over to our Discord. Links provided at the top of the stage and at the beginning of the building. And through that, you'll be able to not only hang out with us, but also be first in line for when we need staff hiring applications, or even better, get in on some of these awesome broadcasted events and get you up on stage talking about all things you.
Yep.
Now remind me, Cam, where can we find your Discord links these days?
It's in the Afonso Productions. You can go to when you go to the Afonso Productions map, it'll be up at the top, or when you enter the buildings. Enter the map.
And there you have it, folks. Just be on the lookout for Afonso Productions. All right, folks, we're coming down to the end of the show here, and as much as I'd love to have everybody up on stage for this next question, but unfortunately, we're still in a broadcast show. We'll handle it on the next one. But the question I still want to pose for you, and I need it answered from everybody still watching, put it into the chat section. Did you have
fun? A lot of yes.
And that's the answer I want to see. Thank you all so much for coming out to see Pillow Talk. I've been your host, the Foggy Golem, and we hope to talk to you on your couch next. Toodles.
Toodles.